There are two research projects that I'm working on currently which I think are intriguing and important. One of them is looking at the nature of trying to make a cohesive citizenship out of diversity and understanding more some of the cultural concerns related to that project. And I'm interested both in the majority native-born population that, for very understandable reasons, feels that their society is changing quite quickly when you have newcomers coming from very diverse religious or ethnic or racial backgrounds and different cultures. And so I'm very interested in knowing how can you help create sort of cross-group dialogues and an easier process of integration for both of those groups. And then also on the immigrant side, how do immigrants and how can they reimagine their position in a society where the modal person of that society might not be someone who looks like themselves. So someone who might be of a religious minority background, but it's perceived that someone who is American or Canadian has to be Christian. And so how do you reimagine the national identity, your nationality, in a way that becomes inclusive? So there's that project. Another project that I'm very interested in, which builds on some of my previous research, is that I think that civil society and how robust civil society is for immigrant communities is fundamental for them to get to make advances in all kinds of areas. So not just becoming a citizen, but helping people to get into the labor market, helping people who maybe are facing social isolation, seniors who might not have a lot of support networks. And so community-based organizations do a lot of fundamental work on that. And one of the questions I'm asking in the American context right now is whether the incidence of community-based organization, the nonprofit organizations that do so much important work in our communities, whether they are really targeting immigrant issues and immigrant populations to the same extent that we find immigrants in the general population. Our research seems to be suggesting that the number of community-based organizations that deal with immigrant issues is only half as much as what we would expect given the immigrants in the population. And this really raises huge questions about civic stratification, so inequality in our community-based organizations and inequality in the civil society that sort of helps us get things done. And I'm interested in knowing why.